conveyor belt out to there. I shouldn't have to hang around a radioactive node anymore. He said, hopefully. Okay, saw spiders. They're just hanging around. Well, this is just plain silly, look. Well, I'm certainly not going to build it through a... I'm not going to build the output, like, through the machine. That would just look... That's just too weird. So, I'm going to have to restock on copper sheeting, too. Okay, yeah, it does sort of clip a little bit, but, it showed up blue. That's what counts. Now, for the rest of it. There's supplies I'm gonna need. A funny thing, you know what I ought to do? Put in a fluid buffer. How much sulfuric acid does this thing use? 48 minutes minus the 10 a minute it outputs makes 30 a minute when things actually get going. So, packaged sulfuric acid. I'm not sure just how much sulfuric acid there is in one package. Let me just put it on well, I guess I'd call it an unpackager. In here. Then I'll make it unpackaged packaged sulfuric acid. There we go. It needs 60 packaged sulfuric acid a minute. Or, wait, no. It outputs 60 sulfuric acid a minute. That is... not what I was looking for, because it only uses 30. Okay, so I guess what I'm going to have to do is use a fluid buffer. 60 a minute. Oh, here it is. 400 cubic meters, 60 a minute times, how much does it stack? 100? That's 6,000? Okay, that's a lot. $2,400 maybe? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going from not using these at all to using a lot of them at a time. And then I got... You know what I ought to do for Shoemaker Concrete? I ought to take the storage container there and make it an industrial storage container instead of just a regular one. Okay. That goes over there. This goes over here. That's for concrete. This thing is huge. Guess if I'm going to keep things running optimally, I need it. And unpackager. Set it to unpackaged sulfuric acid, like that. Wait a second. Oh, yeah. Thought I was reading it in units a minute rather than meters cubic meters a minute, but you know, that reminds me, why on earth are they using cubic meters? It's not a very common measure. It would probably be easier to think of if they used liters a minute. I mean, gallons, that's just the English system, so forget it. What always thought the English that we ought to start using metric here in the United States, but no, we are a stubborn nation. We don't like to change from what we did from what's traditional. Every time there's been change, they fought it tooth and nail. It's depressing, I know. Okay, manufacture. $25 minutes? Wait a second. Look at that. This little glimmering effect that these icons have. And this too. I'm guessing that means, wait, moderately radioactive? As opposed to mildly radioactive? Does that mean that while I'm carrying something that is radioactive on some level, it's going to use those filters, those iodized filters that the hazmat suit uses? Okay. There. So let's see, encased uranium cells. Put a box for the output. Oh, why am I doing that? These are made very slowly. I mean, I think this is the first thing that I've tried to make where it takes longer than a minute to make it. I think this is a weird. These are some weird fractions too, like 2/5 of a minute. That's it takes 150 seconds. That's not a weird fraction, but 0.4 a minute is. Not the reciprocal of 0.4 is 2.5. Okay, maybe it's not so weird, because 2.5 isn't a very weird fraction at all. Okay, so it needs two other things: electromagnetic control rods and encased industrial beams. But each of those things need a yeah, forget it. I was thinking of putting both in the same box. That might help, but I think the way this works is separate inputs require separate materials require separate inputs. So I can't just get away with combining all these together and then putting them all in the same Okay, yeah, so that's a lot of different things I'm going to need to do. I'm going to put in. And it'll be worth it for something as nasty, I guess, as uranium fuel rods. Wait a second, let me just check one last thing. Oh no. I was afraid of this. I really was. They are moderately radioactive. So, again, I'm gonna have to... I can't be carrying them around for too long. Which means I'm gonna have to put the power plant that uses these things somewhere close. Either that, or just stick a conveyor belt and run it all the way out there, all the way out to the cave, and then I think the nuclear power plant should be put like near water. There's a water node. That helps, I guess. Maybe a water node is better than a water extractor, because a water extractor can only run at 120 a minute, but if there's a water node and it's a pure water node, maybe it's like the oil where it's 240 a minute for a pure water node. You know, I've seen oil nodes, and they don't seem to work like water nodes do. with like subnodes. Yeah. I always get a bit blinded after stepping out into the light. After you've been in the dark too long. Okay, so I'm gonna make oh, I think I have been here before. Anyway, I'm gonna make a hypertube extension. But maybe before I do that, I ought to go to a water node and put a nuclear plant near there, because I can build a nuclear plant. And when I built the plants, I suppose I'll have to feed uranium into it using those uranium fuel rods. Where the dickens am I supposed to go? Which way's back home? Don't remember. So this is why I need the hypertube network. I'm kind of lost right now. But I've always got the space elevator. But wait. This is the water node I was talking about. And what kind of water node is it? Let's see. I don't know. What the... Oh, come on. I heard all that stuff about unauthorized hostile activity, and I don't see anything. Well, blow me down. So that's pure water. These hucks coming after me, or aren't they? I think they are. From two different directions. I just gotta go in far enough away that they both seem like the same direction. I can stand on these things. It's kind of a balancing act, I suppose, but I can still stand on them. Real bonehead. I should have been able to take those things on. What I'm coming to. Okay, there it is. So that looks like the main node. Where's a good spot to put this plant? Okay, so all the inputs and outputs are on the same side. high up that is. It consumes 240 a minute. Okay, so, let's see how these extractors work. Should be under resource well pressurizer. Activates the underground. Okay, oh, I need more radio controlled things. The pressurized resources. Oh, they go here. What? Okay, so apparently I guess they would go here if I had a resource well pressurizer. Now they tell me it's fracking. No, I would rather not be a part of that. It's... Then again, the concept of pollution itself doesn't really exist in this game. I mean, can you imagine if it did? Spiral Lake would be, well, a pit, like a toxic waste dump, and so would Freighter Lake, or at least the area around it. Giant black smog clouds. It would be like the end of the Lorax, the original television special from 1972, when things like the Love Canal catching fire was recent news. They really did know how to scare people back then. As opposed to saying, oh, it's not you, it's... What was that? Did I stutter when I used that inhaler there? Okay, that thing is dead. As I was saying, it's probably the most terrifying thing for a kid to watch. So naturally, when they remade the Lorax, it wasn't nearly as scary as it should have been, and I imagine we're gonna end up paying for that now. I'd like to check on this, but oh wait, am I back at the... I meant to go to Steel Hill, not here. This is the... Maybe I didn't mean to go to Steel Hill. Maybe instead of going there, I should create another branch for the hypertube. I forget where that was. Be nice and nearby. Not blocked by anything. Okay, here we go. This what I could do is put it... Could I count this as Hypertube Network North as well? I'll have to move this power pole. What it connects to what there, though. There's one thing that's way out here. Maybe it was... This always happens when I... This is still running. That isn't. Okay, what is doing this? Well, nothing's the matter with the power plants. I suppose that's a comforting thought. Whenever those fuses blow, I always think that it's something at the power plant, something at Freighter Lake. And if something were to go wrong there, then it would mean that something was really wrong with the way I have it set up, and well, that would mean my back of the envelope calculations were somehow wrong. Okay. Put a sign here for I think this should still be the northern network. There we go. Oh, take the holes. I got a better idea. Uranium Express. Oh, you know what? While I'm thinking about it, I gotta grab some copper sheets. Wait a minute, am I out of this? Couldn't be out of this. I'm not out of them. Alright. I have stored away. Okay. 1, 2, 3. The rest of this should be fine. I guess the plant will be a stop along the way. I'm gonna take this hypertube entrance and place it right here. Did I put that on upside down? Why do I need to click these twice? Okay, here we go. Better. Now I gotta do a string part of the grid here. And get some more radio controllers. I made more of them than I needed, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. me crazy. I just don't like the idea of traveling through the ground.